everyone, welcome back to Sports Cabri and Aaron Food. Unfortunately, Hiren will most probably not be joining us today. He's caught up with some stuff outside. But Arnav and I are here to, of course, predict the lineup. And yeah, that's the agenda for the day, Arnav, which is we're going to try to sort of get into Igor's team matches head, what the coach is thinking. And we're going to try to put out 11. So, yeah, um, looking forward to this. And Arnav, just a day away from the game. Has the mood changed at all for you?
No, to be honest. I mean, I put out a tweet last night, which sort of, I'm not sure, I'm not clear, where do I stand? Where does it go? And Dinesh says speak about the press conference, and I'm more confused after the press conference than I was before the press conference. And I don't know what to expect tomorrow. To be very honest, I have, I don't have an idea, and to me is, yeah, I'm hoping for the best, as I always do, but I don't know. I honestly don't know if we are in the position to take care of Afghanistan tomorrow, or if we get stuck in a draw or something, or maybe even lose. I really don't know, because this game a few days ago, was you said it as well, right? It was nothing. So therefore, yeah, that's the situation.
Interesting words, of course, from the press conference are that Igor Stimac says if we don't go to the third round, he will leave. Anava, do you believe?
We said a lot of things in the last few years, so I don't know if they have offered him another contract. That's that. So for me, the coach has to decide, what is right for himself, but what is right for Indian football. And so for me, it's very clear that if he stays, then the problems continue, and there need to be changes in Indian football. So therefore, that for me is very, very clear that the coach has to go sooner than later, rather, I would say. But again, at the moment, it looks rather like later than sooner.
I know. Just a question, because Igor Stimac saying that I will leave if I don't qualify for round three. I'm sorry. Does that kind of hint at the fact that the AFF has confidence in him till that period is over? That we probably will not see a change even if we don't get a result against Afghanistan tomorrow?
See, that's the worrying part to me. That the coach sort of is, again, there are 2 or 3 things hinting there, right? First of all, if we don't qualify, he says he's gonna go. Okay. Now, if the team by chance qualifies, he stays. That to me is a bigger concern, right? So for me, that's a very worrying part, and I don't know how to take all of this, and I would have loved if he had, for once, had been honest and said, guys, we didn't do well against Afghanistan away. We'll try and do it better, blah blah, and again, not talk about these sideshows.
It's almost become like a TV show now, where we get like episodes and episodes and episodes, and every episode has more drama to it. So yeah, this really feels like we're in a Game of Thrones series at the moment. But what can we say?
I mean,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah, you're saying.
No, for me, you're actually right. It's like a an old Bollywood serial, or in Spain they call it telenovela, and then every day you don't know what's going to happen, and it's and then there's another twist to the story, and but it's not taking us forward. That's my concern. If it was taking us forward, okay, we'll football is something where you have ups and downs, but yeah.
I completely get you. I think, but anyways, we're here to predict the lineup. So let's start in goal, Anova. Igor Stimac, do you think? So let's get into the mind of the coach. Let's try to predict the 11 from his point of view. I'm guessing you don't think Gurpreet is going to get displaced in goal.
I don't think so. If you ask me, Gurpreet will start, and there is, therefore Gurpreet Singh Sandhu will, the coach will start with him. I don't see him changing anything.
What have you made of Gurpreet Anwar in the past few games? He's just he's probably been one of those players where you can't really criticize because he hasn't done much wrong. Is there anything that you?
I would say that Australia thing, we can discuss the Asian
Mm,
Cup,
yeah.
but otherwise, the other goals were, either errors from his own teammates or they were just good attempts. So therefore, from that perspective, you can't say much. And and I don't see a World Cup. The point is these kind of matches are not there for trial and errors. For that, you have to have used again friendly tournaments, friendly matches. That is where you try and do, and that's where I again go back to last year Tri Nation Intercontinental Cup. That's where he should have tried out certain players. Give a Vishal Keth a chance, other strikers a chance. He hasn't done it, and therefore we are in that situation. Therefore, I don't see much, much changing.
Yeah, yep. Fair enough. Amal saying I don't want Igor after the Afghanistan match, but it really looks at the moment like it will not make a difference. It really looks, and it's kind of disheartening. But what it is again. Yeah, Gurpreet will most likely start in goal. I don't think there's any conversation to be had about it. The back four are now the two central defenders. Let's start with them. Anwar Ali and Rahul Beke. Any changes there?
No, for me, Beke and Anwar start at the heart of defense, so there will be no changes. I don't see that.
Yeah. I think I completely agree as well. We just don't have any options. We don't have Sana Singh to probably, even if you want to change things, you don't really have that option. Mehtab is probably the only one who can come in, but yeah, these are probably the best two out of the central defenders we have. But there's been some conversation about fullbacks. Akash Mishra didn't have the best game. Nikhil Pujari put in some good crosses, but he had his own moments as well. So is that something that you think Igor Stimac is looking at and saying, you know what, hey, I brought this guy, Amer Anawade, after such a good ISL season, I brought him here. Is this probably the time to give him a shot and let's see what he can do?
I don't think Nikhil Pujari will be swapped. I think
Mhm.
Stimac will stick with Nikhil Pujari. I rather think that potentially Subhashish Bose might be playing on as left back.
Okay.
He
Okay.
brought him on. He brought him on as well against Afghanistan in the first game, so that might be a substitution that could happen.
Yeah. King Loss is also saying Pujari is frustrating worse, but I understand where you're coming from in the sense that he's not the most clean footballers to watch, but he somehow gets the job done. Every time you see Nikhil, he'll get the job done. He'll put in crosses for you. He'll work hard. Um, but yeah, and yeah, Subhashish Bose probably somebody who can come in and who can do a job. Uh, is it true about Igor's statements about resignation? That's what he said. That if he doesn't make it to round three, he has said he will leave. So that, yeah, whether it will happen or not is a different
That's a different question. He said a lot of
question.
things in the last
Exactly.
few years, so therefore, yeah, I don't know. Let's wait and see.
Yeah,
I take it with a pinch of salt. Let's put it this way.
yeah. Another again interesting conversation to be had about our midfield three. So let's start with sort of the number 6 and the number 8. Who do you like? I mean, who do you think Igor Stimac is going to go with?
That's a good question because I think the only fixed point to me is Apuya,
Mm-hmm.
and everything else around it is, there could be changes. To me, I don't know if Jeekson will start. I don't think Jeekson deserves to start. So the question is, do I risk if I'm a little bit more adventurous? Do I risk and bring in Suresh? And then ahead of it depends. I think he'll put Sunil back as a striker. And then the question is, does he risk Brandon or not?
Yeah, yep. Anwar, I think we've seen that he likes Jackson and he's got a preference towards him. But do you see him starting tomorrow?
Jackson was not, to me, Jackson wasn't good enough. So that's my only concern that I felt against Afghanistan. He's still not there where he needs to be, also from a physical aspect. I didn't think Jackson had a good game for his own standards, and he needs to do more. So therefore, let's see.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. The attacking midfielder, Nava, because that's a topic of conversation. Sunil Chetri started there in the previous game. Who starts there for you? I mean, who starts there according to Ego's team? If you're
To me, it's Changte and Vikram.
Okay.
I think if I look at the current club form and also, Changte has to do a little bit more, but Vikram has shown certain things. But I would like to see those two on the wings, and I would like to see those two inter-switching also their wing play with left and right.
Okay, that's interesting. So the two wingers, you think, but Anava, you think Igor will go with that?
This is the question I think that everybody's asking. Does he consider Mahesh? Does he consider Liston? I don't know who he's considering, but I would, and again, it seems to be that Vikram seems to be in his good books. So therefore, I'm thinking Manvir sometimes also gets into his good books, but Manvir also has not had those games. So therefore, I would hope, that that he does something about it, and then Vikram and Changte would be my choices.
And Brandon in the 10, I presume, for you, with Sunil Chetri ahead. Yep.
Yeah, Sunil starts. I mean, 150th game and all that PR around it. Even though he went to the press conference again today. But let's see.
Yep. What about Suresh? Arnav? I think there has been a conversation around Suresh. Didn't do too badly in the Asian Cup. Hasn't been doing too badly for BFC. Where do you stand with regards to Suresh?
See, if Jackson is fit, Jackson is the number one choice in that, because I think Jackson brings a different level of physicality just because he's tall and a little bit stronger build. I think what Suresh in the recent months has sort of evolved and developed to is somewhat of an, also not just a 6, but also he can play as an 8, so that he can be a little bit more attacking, a little bit more enterprising. So that would be an interesting, so that would be interesting to see how that works out.
Arnav Amiri is apparently going to play his last game tomorrow. Says Igor's the match. Guard of honor for him.
Could happen. He's got a few ex-teammates in on the field tomorrow, so you never know. Could happening if he's playing his last match tomorrow. That could be happening.
Puya Suresh is a good combo, says Parmeshwar again. I would love to see that. I really would love to see that. I understand the conversation about Jackson and why he is number one, but just given the fact that he's still, you can see he's not up to speed yet after that lengthy injury. So I would love to see Apuya and Suresh in the middle of the park. Under 23 results, Arnav?
From what I've heard, 1-1.
Okay, so that's that. Happy to see the under 20 sort of get a couple of goals in during these friendlies.
Yeah, I mean it's a good. I think it's a good result if you're getting results against Malaysia. I haven't had a look at, to be honest, into the Malaysian team, if they're only playing with local players or if they've also strengthened their under trees with players of origin. So for us, as I said, practice matches, 90 minutes of football, great for these boys.
And I know where do you stand on Deepak Tangri, because I know you said you'd like him to come into the midfield and start these games against Afghanistan.
Though I wanted to start him away because I thought he was a better option than Jackson, but now the question is that the coach needs to change something, and we need to look at our options, how we attack and how we create chances. I think that's the challenge in this whole thing. So therefore, that's going to be It's something where we need to be wise. That's, I think, very often my sort of piece of criticism, that we're not wise enough sometimes to actually take the right decision to make the right things.
Everybody was asking about Hiren, guys. I'm not too sure if whether Hiren will be able to join us today. I think he's caught up with some work elsewhere, so that's that on Hiren. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, completely get that argument for Deepak Tangri sort of early on in the game away, but yeah, it's going to be interesting, Anava. What do you think Afghanistan are going to try to do different? Because they've seen this Indian team, they've seen that this Indian team can be sort of gotten at, and you think they will have much more confidence going into this?
I think they should have more confidence going into this. I think, people expected another thrashing after the losses against Kuwait and Qatar, and they were the better team on the night. That's the scary part in this whole conversation, which a lot of people are forgetting, where people are saying, and therefore, let's see.
They were certainly the better team, I think, on the night. It was, we just didn't bring anything to the game. Again, we just say it again and again, but yeah, we didn't.
We on the night we were just not good enough, and that's, I think, that's the problem of the whole situation. I think with what the expectations were and what we wanted to do, but again, on the other side, we need to see a different India tomorrow. We need to see a team which wants to win the game, which wants to, have a go. And let's see. And I hope that they can do something.
Yeah. I know, again, this is so important. I think what you were saying. Ashley Westwood said we'll go for the win, and Steemat said nothing, which clearly sort of shows the difference in mindset and approach. When it's not coming from the coach itself, how hard is it for the players to sort of take it and go into the game?
It's very difficult because you expect it's a difficult one, because the coach should be giving a positive outset, right? And whatever he says in the press conferences, or in general in the media, if not all, but some of the infos gets back to the players, to the team, right? And I don't know if the Indian team has understood that most of the fans are very, very unhappy with the performance in Saudi Arabia, in Aba, against Afghanistan. I think that is something, I don't know. So that's why, let's see. So therefore, to me, I want a different intent. I want a positive outlook. We need a result tomorrow. Otherwise, if we draw tomorrow, I mean, forget if we're losing, but if we're drawing tomorrow, that itself already is a problem.
Anna, is it curtains for us if we draw tomorrow as far as qualification for round 4 is concerned?
No, it's not curtains tomorrow, but it puts certain pressure on us, that we, the advantage that we got against Kuwait by winning away. We've that from that 3-point advantage, we've lost 2 points.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we draw, we are theoretically, if I expect that Afghanistan lose both their matches to Kuwait, then for us the challenge will be, we'll have to beat Kuwait at home.
Yeah.
So therefore, for me, tomorrow is as important as are the matches in June.
Exactly. I think that's what I was trying to refer to. If we sort of come away with a draw, we'll have to beat Kuwait at home, and with the form we'll be going into that game, it might prove to be quite a little challenging. So yeah, Mayank Sakre saying we'll win tomorrow. He's a little positive about it. Igor saying Anwar said we'll play well against Afghanistan. So yeah, I mean, some positives coming out of that dressing room. I don't know, what have you made of Anwar Ali's comeback, because he doesn't look the same Anwar Ali that we saw sort of before the injury.
Um, it's again, I think he wasn't tested too much. We have to be honest about that as well. I mean, even though Afghanistan had their moments, but I think most of the game was all over the pitch. But the game had very, very few chances at both ends, so it's not tested too much. But um, he's got some very important games coming up for Mohun Bagan Supergiant after that. So and Habas has been working on certain things, so hopefully he'll be fitter going into the June matches. I think that's a bit of a problem with some of the players who've been injured recently, right? That they are not as fit
Exactly.
as they should be, need to be for us.
Yeah, exactly. I think Amal's pointing that out as well. Um, um, Mayank saying we didn't get time to prepare. Igor's team match, first match against Afghanistan. I mean, I don't know what to say about these excuses, but it's done. I mean, we really have to move on from them, just get the performances and then just do our
I
job, I
think
guess.
I think the problem is that people need to understand that this is a situation that is there for every coach, right? You need to know when you're the national team coach of XYZ team. It doesn't matter if you're the coach of the best team in the world or if you're the head coach of a national team of the worst team in the world. These FIFA windows are there for all to follow, right? It doesn't matter, let's say in Europe, if it's France or Italy, and then you have to go, San Marino or Gibraltar. For them, it's the same rule, you know. And for San Marino, Gibraltar gets even more tougher because their players are amateurs and those guys are, they're working in the week, training 2, 3 times a week, and then, they're playing their club matches and then they have to go for international matches. So you have to live with these realities, right? I, as a coach, need to know that if I'm coming to India, I will have to work around certain things. I will not get players who are finished products. I have to work on my players, you know. Um, so it doesn't matter to me.
Is this where you stand as well? Even if we win 6-0, say tomorrow, hypothetically, still steam match has to go, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think,
yeah.
yeah, I think it has
If
to.
not, if not now, at least latest in in after June, it has to end because it's toxic. That's I think the thing. For me, I think that's the most important thing that there needs to be a change. There needs to be a positive outlook, and I can't have it's that much of negativity around the Indian team. I think that's the biggest problem that we have at the moment. We have negativity around the AFF, generally around Indian football, and the Indian team is not giving us any sort of positive vibes, which could take us in a different direction.
Yeah, completely agree. Who's the next coach will be the sort of question that will be asked. But again, it's just so early because we just don't know what the AFF will do. It does look like the Steamach has got the backing of the federation until these World Cup qualifiers are over. At least round two's fixtures are done. So yeah, I don't know. But if you had to choose a coach, any names that you'd like to throw in?
I would like to see who applies for the job and then see who falls within the budget and within the requirements of the federation. At the moment, I don't want to discuss names, to be very honest, because I'm sure once the job is available, we'll have very, very interesting coaches applying for the job. So therefore, that's my hope that then, if the processes are right, which at the moment they aren't, but hopefully things will change, and then we will be changing the right and uh, you know let's see.
Big game for Sunil Chhetri tomorrow, 150th game for the national team. Seam scored. Do you see him scoring?
I wish he does. I wish Sunil all the best on that 150th match, because when I talk about this toxicity, it's also around him, and um, he was less than a year still a hero, and on the other side now it looks like that he is, yeah. Um, is he hanging around too long and destroying his own legacy, sort of, that's the thing that is there. And yeah, hopefully he can get a goal, not only goal tomorrow but lead us to the win tomorrow.
And I don't know. I think it's we're getting close to that period where we start discussing when is the right time for Sunil Chhetri to hang his boots.
Yeah, yeah. I think the question is if it's going to be in the summer, maybe
Mm-hmm.
post ISL, post the World Cup qualifiers, either ending or continuing. But to me is if yes, June could be June could be good for me.
Okay, interesting. And okay, Parmeshwar is asking a question. When does Steamash get the courage to make the hard choice of benching Sunil Chetri? Don't get me wrong, he's always be a legend, goat of Indian football, but right now his presence on the field isn't helping.
Um, I mean, you know, the point is that the coach is not built. You know, uh, to me, we haven't built the right um, alternatives so far. But at some stage, we have to be honest that if this team wants to grow, maybe this whole shadow of Sunil, as big as Sunil is not working. You know, so for me, is you know let him have his few moments and then retire him.
Deepak Das asks an interesting question. Don't you think hiring somebody like Peter Cartley for the under 19s would be more important than the senior national team?
See, we don't have an under 19 team, so that's the first problem. If at all, we have an under 20. And Peter Kratky is a club coach, and I don't see someone like him going in and coaching the juniors. So for me, again, I'm not explicitly not saying I don't want to look at coaches who've worked in this setup and youth and all that kind of stuff, be it ISL top, the top coaches as the senior national coach, or for the junior setup. I would look for specific coaches, the right coaches to come in, where most probably we don't even know the name of the coach at the moment. That is something. Therefore, it's not about someone whose name we know and he's there. Yeah, that's what I feel.
Yeah, do together says we can beat Afghanistan. Uh, yep, Anava, predictions for tomorrow.
Uh, we come back to the same story as the other day, right? The problem, the challenge is at the moment is there's a wish and there's a fear, right? To me, I would like us to win 2-0, 3-1. I think that would be good, but you know I don't know. I maybe another 1-1 is waiting to be coming or something. I don't know. That's why it's very difficult to say at the moment.
Yeah, Anava is saying, so potentially a one-all draw. You're saying it's possible, Anava, and I think it is possible as well. Parmeshwar is saying positive 1-0 to India. Um, Igor Slimat saying be realistic, and he predicts a nil-all draw. I think I'm just going to be a little positive and just say 1-0 India because we're playing at home and hopefully the crowd can get the team over the line. Otherwise, yeah, we're looking at a really, really tough period for the boys in the coming months. But yeah, Nava, anything else to add for tomorrow's game?
No, I think again, as I said, I would like us to win. I think that's the main thing, right? But looking at the whole scenario, and you never know, right? They're saying that the stadium will be full. I don't know how many tickets have been sold, um, but I hope not. But I think that the events of the last few days might have an impact of how many people actually turn up.
Parmeshwar saying if you're wearing the blue jersey, don't expect a positive result. Um, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun, guys. Tomorrow we've got a watch along. Please join us from 7 p.m. And we'll do a sort of post match uh, review as well for a bit and see what happened in the game. Go through the highlights and talk about all that stuff. But yeah, it's an important game despite everything being a little doom and gloom at the moment. It's an important game for India. Hopefully, we can get over the line and get closer to round 3 of the World Cup qualifiers. Yeah. Thanks, Arnav. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, everybody else in the chat as well. Please like and share the video. Subscribe to all the channels. Sports Khabri, Arun Foot, and a Curious Harry. We will be back tomorrow. Good night.
Bye. Good night.